For the hastening of our Imam of the times reappearance and the soul of Lady Fatima al-Ma'sooma, that we are at her presence, at her holy shrine, please recite salawat. For being real followers for Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib and the other Imams, please recite the second salawat higher. Today and the night is dedicated to two occasions. The first is the anniversary of marriage for Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen and Lady Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. And the second occasion is the beginning nights and days for the month Dhul Hajjah. That is the occasion for being the pilgrim for the house of Allah in Mecca. And now there are many pilgrims from different corners of the world are just visiting the holy mosque, that is Masjid al-Haram in Mecca. And inshallah to be among them next year, please recite another salawat. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومؤين. The subject I decided to talk about tonight is the way to change our lifestyle and to change status quo that we are living to the best one, and think a little bit about the point of view that Islam emphasizes on, and especially from Islamic mystical view. Inshallah, we would find some ways to introduce you, and especially the month of Dhul Hajjah is the best occasion and opportunity for the mystics to start some hours, some nights and days for purifying their selves and their souls. And inshallah, we will take this opportunity to know first ourselves, our soul, and then to start purifying it with the help of Allah the Almighty and the guidelines that our prophets established and our imams just helped us to be stable in this guideline and this right path. This is the very important question most of people always ask: is there any way to change our lifestyle or not? And people always seeking to find out a good way to improve their daily lives, to reach good destiny of their life. But in some finding examples, they may fail. Some people may think, is reaching great amount of money and dollar could helpful and could help us to achieve good level of life or not? Is that finding good job? Is that finding good education to have best life, to have good life or not? I think to change lifestyle needs some elements. The first one is understanding the reality of life. And the second element is to understand the status and the position of mankind in the universe as a whole. To be honest, there are many approaches to justify the reality of life. And the core of these approaches is to consider the life as the utility or as the joy only, to reach to the absolute utility and absolute joy. So utilitarianism and joyfulness, in some cases, considered as to be the core of the materialistic thinking and approach toward life and the meaning of life. Is that really correct attitude toward life? Are we here to live in this world to achieve more utility, to achieve more joy? That these joyfulness and utilities are just restricted in the framework of materialistic world, or there is another thing beyond this materialistic world and physics? I'm not here to talk about just hereafter, to say yes, ignore this world and just think about hereafter. No. What I'm about to say is to focus on this materialistic world also, and to think that even in this world there is something behind this materialistic world before hereafter comes. If we think and focus on this materialistic world, we would find there is another aspect of life, and that is metaphysics, and that is supernatural source forcing us forward, forcing us to find out another way through different ways that are materialistic. If we look at Quranic verses, we could find some verses focus on the meaning of life and the purpose of life for human being. So when Allah created human being, all you know, so He addressed the angels, I'm creating human being as a caliph of mine on the earth. And the angels started complaining or saying something, oh Lord, we're just praising you. There's no need for creating Adam. There's no need for creating caliph for you. We are your caliph. We are just praising you, performing prayer for you, doing tasbih for you. So Allah at that time, that moment said, I know what you don't know. There's something you don't know. Adam is a special being. I'm giving Adam something I'm not giving you. So that is the knowledge of everything. An ability of Adam to learn many things and to evaluate himself toward Allah, a proximity, and toward Allah, closeness. And Adam has two aspects of life. One is materialistic, another is spiritual. So if Adam go forward behind the physical body and reach the destiny of spirituality, and through his soul go forward and higher and reach the position that can see Allah the Almighty, and the angels never can reach the position that Adam could reach, then Adam could go forward even higher than the angels of God. So this is Adam. Adam is created as to be the caliph of Allah the Almighty on the earth. Another verse explains the purpose of creation for Adam and jinns. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I've not created Adam, ins, human being, and jinns except for worship. So worship is a crucial point in being purpose for creation. So what's the meaning of worship? How could we worship Allah the Almighty? So it is interpreted as to be knowing God. So worshiping God means to know God. To know that there is something so you're coming from. There is something you're going toward. And that is the source for everything, every creation, every being. So you're not alone. You're not created by yourself. There is one creator for you. If you know God, then you can understand your own position. As some scholars say, there is long process for Islamizing some knowledge and sciences. This is ancient concern for scholars of Islamic societies and Islamic countries to Islamize some knowledges and some sciences that are not Islamic based or that are not divine based, rather humanistic and coming from West. There is good point of view here, says if you want to change these knowledges and these sciences toward being Islamic, you can just only do one thing that is not so difficult, to change your attitudes toward world, toward universe. How? To see the nature as the creation. This is the key word in the process of Islamizing the different disciplines of academic centers. So to see that this is not only nature, if you see jungles, mountains, animals, everything, seas, oceans, to see that this is not only nature, but created by Allah the Almighty, then all these things became a sign for God, a communication toward Allah the Almighty. At the moment you're seeing and watching the mountain and the nature, trees and rivers, at that moment you can connect to the Creator, and that is Allah the Almighty. And this is the case in ourselves. If you know Allah, that is creator of all things, included human being, then you can understand that I'm not created vastly. I'm not created for nothing. There should be a purpose behind this creation. So little by little, I can understand the meaning of life. Before understanding the meaning of life, I could say there are, from Quranic point of view, 3 types of lives. One is before understanding the meaning of life and the position of mankind in the universe and the source that is supernatural and everything are coming from that source, that is Allah the Almighty. This kind of life that is full of ignorance is the animalistic life. If you refer to Holy Quran, you could find many verses describe some people that are not able to understand the source of creation. They are unbelievers. Or they claim that they believe in something, but this is some words they're saying. There's nothing in their hearts. They're hypocrites. They're just trying to deceive people. And even in the Holy Quran, we could find يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. They tried to deceive Allah the Almighty and to deceive other people by saying, oh yes, we're Muslims, we're good people, we're followers of, for example, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But there's no practice. There's no faith behind these statements. So both these groups are just living in animalistic life because they don't understand the source of creation and the goal of creation. Then they just engage in materialistic aspects of the life, what we see in the modern life. And most of people engage in something that these things are not necessary for life. They think that this kind of things are real needs of mankind, but they're wrong. Suppose that today, for example, we're just feeling, okay, I can't live without cell phone because telephone is and mobile is necessary for modern life. Most of people think without mobile, without cell phone, so life is impossible. Without having internet today, some people say this is difficult to live without internet. Is it possible to live? So he may think about previous generations, how they faced the difficulties in their life without internet or without connecting to some social networks or something like this, satellites or another gadgets or equipments that we have today on the shadow of technology. So these are false needs of mankind. This is not real. We consider them as to be need, but indeed there's not needs. So most of people today are intangible in the life that is not real life. They consider themselves as live person, but they're indeed dead body. They're not live. Their life is not real life. Some people continue this life and keep continuing the animalistic life till death without awakening. But some people think and they use their intelligence. You know, the intelligence is introduced as to be inner prophet of mankind. They hear to the voice of inner prophet and this intelligence. So intelligence calls always for awakening. Say, hey, you're going to die. It's time for awakening. You're losing the time. You're reaching to end of your life. Isn't that the time for awakening? So if you listen to the voice of inner prophet, then this inner prophet guides us to the external prophet, and that are coming from God to guide us to the right path. So if you say labbaik, okay, so as I mentioned, these days and nights are dedicated for pilgrimage of Hajj. So most of people from around the world, they said labbaik to Allah and went to Hajj pilgrimage. So here you can say labbaik for your inner prophet, and then labbaik for external prophet, and to follow them. If you do this, then you can enter humanistic life. الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا. Those who said our Lord is Allah. I'm going to go out of the kingdom of Taghut, the kingdom of Satan, the kingdom of egoism, the kingdom of dollar, position, job, to get out of this kingdom and to enter the kingdom of God. قالوا ربنا الله. If you say, my Lord is Allah, then you declare the world, all the people of the world, understand and know me, I'm Muslim. Today I entered the kingdom of Allah the Almighty. الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا. There's condition for that. This is not enough to say my Lord is Allah and that's it, finished, everything is completed here. No, it needs continuation. You have to keep going on this path. You have to be stable on this way, and it is highway toward Allah the Almighty. تتنزل عليهم الملائكة. If you say that my Lord is Allah and be stable on this way, then the angels of Allah descend upon you, come down on you. What they say? Allah khawfun alayhim an la takhafu wa la tahzan. Don't fear, don't be sad. وَأَبْشِرُوا بِالْجَنَّةِ الَّتِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. So there's good news for you, and that is your destination, and your destination would be paradise and heaven. So if you become Muslim, there's no fear for you, there's no sadness for you, not to be sad. And this is humanistic life. If you keep going on this path and practice your religious rituals more and more in a perfect way, then you can go forward and reach another type of life, and that is the life of angels or angelic life. So what's the difference between this life and the previous one? If you live humanistic life, then you may make mistake, because human being is not infallible. There is possibility for sin and committing sin, because we have also bad desires in ourselves. But if you keep controlling yourself, struggling yourself to do jihad with yourself, with your satanic temptation, with your desires, with your passions that are very low, then you can achieve the level of peace in your mind, in your soul. You know, peace is not possible without struggling, without jihad. First you have to do jihad and then to reach peace. Sometimes we Muslims think about guiding another people to the right path, to spread peace in all over the world, without practicing peace in ourselves. To do jihad, and that is greater jihad with yourself, and to reconciliate between opposite faculties and desires that we have in ourselves. After reconciliation, this is the room for peace. And if you reach the level of peace in yourself, then you can be peace builder in a society. You can invite people to peace, and that is Islam. That is the name of God. Allah is salam, is peace. Islam comes from peace. Muslim comes from peace. Muslim is the one who is considered as the person who spread peace among people. But if you're Muslim, carry the name of Islam, but other people are not secure from your evil, how could you call yourself as a Muslim? This is the name just you're carrying without reality. If you continue this kind of life, you may reach the level of life that is called the life of angels. And you know, the angels never commit sin. They are infallible. Okay. You can reach this destination by practice, by doing good deeds, by a'mal. Not just by saying something, by some chanting slogan, oh yes, I'm Muslim. No, this is not enough. It needs amal, action, practice. Without practice, we can't reach that destiny. So if we practice peace in ourselves, automatically we reach the destination that Holy Prophet introduced when he said, I'm sent just, or I have been sent for perfection of moralities and morals. We reach that destiny. Because the morality may cause the peace and peaceful life. The morality is the manifestation of peace, and that is inner peace and inward peace. You know, there is a title given for some mystics, great mystics in Islamic context, and that is perfect peace or whole peace, something like this. Sulh kul. So there's some person is holy peace. It means there's no conflict inside this man. He could be able to control the faculties and the desires that are opposite at the first sight. And then yes, if you see that man, yes, the body and the gesture and the words of that man is teaching you, and all of these things, because he's the peace and the holy peace. I just want to mention two examples from the life of our imams, because yes, we claim that we are the followers of our imams, and our imams are the best example in practicing peace and moralities. And from here, you may connect to the very beginning of my discussion, that was changing lifestyles. How could we change our lifestyles? I explained there are 3 lifestyles, and we can change first through Iman and Islam, and then through practice. And through these things we can go forward and change our lifestyle to the better one and to the best one. One example that I can say is the lifetime of Imam al-Hussein, the 3rd Imam of Muslims. You know all about the tragedy of Karbala. At the end moment and the last moment of his lifetime, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was repeating some words. There is a person, he is among the army of enemy. He says, I saw that Imam al-Hussein's lips moving and saying something. I thought that he's cursing these enemies because this situation was very bad to be tolerated by Imam and by any person at that time. He says, I went forward and closer to Imam to hear what Imam says, and I saw Imam is repeating these things. Oh my Lord, ridan biridak, tasliman li'amrik, la ma'buda siwak. Oh my Lord, I am satisfied with your satisfaction. I can tolerate this difficult situation because I see all these are occurring before your eyes. Perfect satisfaction. Another example on the desert of Karbala is the example of Lady Zainab al-Kubra salamullahi alayha. She is a woman. She saw all these tragedies happen to her brother, to her sons, to her families. She's sent as a captive. But when she's asked about the situation, went on, she said, Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. All I saw was beauty. I didn't see anything except beauty, and all things were beautiful. Because we just tolerated the situation occurred, and we were able to be patient. So this is what we can understand, that the attitudes toward the life can change the reality, can make the reality to be pleasant. You think, yes, sometimes we are under the pressure of life and difficulties, and we can tolerate. So at that time, you have to change your attitudes toward life. Is this dunya the place for rest? Or this is like a bridge we have to pass on? The attitudes is very important toward world and toward life. Through our moralities, we can change the life. We can change the style of life. We can make the life to be pleasant. And even we can change the life of the others through moralities. One of the relatives of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam came to him and started insulting Imam. Imam didn't say anything. Just listen. After finishing the words by the person who came and started saying bad things to Imam, and after that man left that gathering, Imam said to his companions, "You heard what that man said about me.